Welcome to TACOS Tuesday, the place for the best Amazon ads strategies and tactics. My name is Hamish Conway, Managing Director of Sell Global, and with me is Sebastian Hargraves, the Head of Advertising at Sell Global. Welcome, Seb.
Hey, everyone.
So Seb, for the last 3 weeks, you've been flying solo, as it were, doing the fundamentals training, which has been fantastic. So if you haven't listened to that or watched that, then go back and do look at that. It's also an excellent one to share with your team as well, to just really give a very good foundation on the fundamentals of Amazon ads. So that is good. And also just a bit of background on Sell Global for those that are new to the podcast. We're an Amazon specialist marketing agency, and with a specific expertise in Amazon ads. We're an Amazon Ads Advanced partner, which means that we're in the top 5% of ad spend managed in Australia. And this is where, so Seb's based in Australia, I'm in New Zealand, and we really focus on this part of the world. But we also have customers that we have helped for a long time and continue to help in the USA and Canada and the UK as well. So that's what we do. We love helping brands be successful on the channel, and hence we've got this podcast. And today we are going to be talking about new to brand customers. So while we love the idea of repeat business and people coming back because that's far cheaper, but the reality is to really grow on the channel on Amazon, you need to be specifically going after new to brand customers, because look, your competition is snapping at your heels. They're trying to win over your customers, so you've got to be very proactive and never assume that it's just going to happen. And in this episode, why it's worth listening to is we're going to go through specifically how you go about having targeted strategies with your ads to win new to brand customers, and also the metrics you need to know that are going to help you be more aggressive in your approach as you go after new to brand customers. So without further ado, we shall rip into it. So let's some definitions here. So Seb, what are new to brand customers on Amazon?
Yep. So a new to brand customer is a customer who has not purchased from your brand in the past 12 months.
Okay, so that's nice and simple. And by the way, Amazon does help with these metrics, and we'll show you some of them a little bit later. But it's on there, which is very helpful to see new to brand versus repeat. But look, so why is it important to have a new to brand customers?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons, but the main reason is to show incrementality on your advertising. And what we mean by that is we work with a lot of big brands, and so there's a lot of customers that come to Amazon and search up brands and just make purchases. Now, those customers, a lot of time they're not new to brand, right? They know the brand and they're not purchasing for the first time. So to split your audience out from your regular customers who are coming to visit and Amazon and purchase regularly versus the customers that are new to brand, it allows you to tailor like your advertising objectives for them. So there's three main areas that it's important for: market share. So obviously, acquiring new customers or new to brand customers, the more you do, the more of those that you capture, the more market share that you're going to take from competitors. Repeat purchases is the other area. So, with repeat purchases, if you know that they're new to brand and you know that they stick around, and I did an episode about this, about the lifetime value, you know that you can afford to pay, more to acquire them if you know that they're new to brand. And then the last one is lower advertising costs. Brand traffic is the cheapest traffic that you can get on Amazon because it's free, right? If someone's searching your brand, they're very likely to purchase your brand. And so by building new to brand customers, you are building more branded traffic. So that's going to make your advertising costs lower.
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting. So when we do the Amazon ads audits there, we look at that branded search versus category search and the conversion rates, and the ROAS on branded search is multiples better, right? So I guess that's what you're really talking about there, is the more we can get people searching for our brand and then buying, then that's really efficient ad spend there. And also just something as you're talking there came to mind. I mean, in the US, it's not a saturated market, but the growth there is more limited. Look, there'll be some trends or categories that will have upside that'll boom, but a lot of the time it's static. So you need to be trying to it's more of a conquest against your competition to get the new to brand. In Australia, though, the channel is still growing. More and more people are still discovering shopping on Amazon, or starting to shop more on Amazon as they realize that the shipping is vast, etc. And so there is a lot of new to Amazon customers as well as new to your brand customers. So at the moment, it's a great time to be very active in acquiring new to brand customers to then get them to the repeat, being more aggressive now than competitors, so you can get to the front of the queue. You could say, would that be a fair comment, do you think, for Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Good. So in terms of, so we covered off why it's important. Let's talk a bit more about the strategy. So what does a strategy look like for acquiring new to brand customers?
Yep. Yeah, I think, we sort of asked the question. It's like, why can't I just, keep focusing on the advertising performance and just focus on, high ROAS and not worry about new to brand customers. And, if I get them, I get them. If I don't, I don't. And the main reason for that is, we touched on some of the points before around market share, but the main reason is that when you start to focus on creating and acquiring the new to brand customers, you create your own demand. So Amazon is very bottom of the funnel type platform. Everyone is there to purchase. If they're searching for your brand, generally they're there. They don't need to be convinced. It's like they're there, they're going to click, they're going to purchase, because they know that that's where they go to make their purchases. Because it's very bottom of the funnel, you're only capturing the demand that's already there. You're not creating any demand. And so by focusing and having a separate strategy for new to brand customers, you can create your own demand, as I talked about in the previous point, which is, branded search. You create a great brand, great product, advertise that to a customer, acquire that new to brand customer, and then they come back and purchase from you multiple times. And so the strategies to acquire them, means that if for example, you have a customer come in, purchase from you, and you know that they're going to purchase from you 2 to 3 more times, that lifetime value of that customer is quite high. And so you can pay a lot more for that initial purchase, knowing that they're going to come back. So that's more typical for CP consumer brands. But, there's also that still happens within other brands that have, a large catalog of SKUs as well.
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like, because you talk about bottom of the funnel, and then what I guess new to brand strategies tend to be more top of the funnel. So what we're really talking about here is like your traffic could fatigue, like your sales could fatigue, or your advertising results could fatigue if you don't start to do top of the funnel work, right? Is that's the risk?
Yeah, I mean, a good example is, let's say someone comes in and has half the price product as yours, but same quality as yours, same everything, they're just half the price. How do you compete with that? You can't. You won't be able to compete on price alone. So the only thing that you have to leverage at that point is your brand. You need a brand that, says I'm quality, I'm good. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you are at the mercy of rising click costs on Amazon. So that means you just solely have to try and compete where you can afford to compete on your advertising, if you don't use the new to brand metrics and build that brand, following, through acquiring more new to brand customers.
To help people here understand, okay, so what ad types would you be using if you had a new to brand focused strategy? You had to build brand at the top of the funnel.
Yep. So Amazon allows us to measure new to brand orders for sponsored brand and sponsored display campaigns. They don't allow us to do it for sponsored product ones. So they're going to be the two main ad types that use: sponsored brands and sponsored display.
Yeah. So that's going to be the headline ad, video ad, or retargeting inside of other products, competing products, and that's and therefore you're tracking that new to brand. Okay. And why do people have a problem with this? Like, why do they not do this?
Because it's complicated. I think it's hard to measure. Is another area. So yeah, I think those are probably the main piece. They don't have expertise within Amazon, and so because they don't have the expertise, they don't really know how to put this kind of strategy together. Because it's one thing to say that yes, that I know that's what I need to do. It's another thing entirely to then implement that strategy and measure its success, which is hard for a lot of brands to do without that expertise.
And is it also, and we'll look at some numbers a little bit in a moment there, but it's possible that the initial numbers on the surface might not look as good as the bottom of the funnel sponsored ads, and particularly like branded search at the bottom, where the ROAS could be a lot higher than what they would be with sponsored brand and sponsored display. So that there can, I guess, put people off, or they go, well, we'll actually allocate more money this way because that's a better return, but it's obviously missing out the longer term view.
No, absolutely. It's a good return today, but is it going to be a good return 2 years from now? Maybe not, because that return, like you said, can diminish as more competitors come to the platform and as demand increases.
Yeah, that's a really good. It's probably a really good reminder for people, like particularly in Australia, where it's still quite an immature market, and if you take a longer view or even a medium term view of investing now, you are really going to lock in your organic rankings and just be harder for any new brand to start winning customers off you. So it's an investment for that medium to long term that'll pay off in spades, just from really being a key brand on the channel in your category. And the thing is, you don't have to be a big household brand to be able to do this. This is actually one of the great things about Amazon, is it's a level playing field in many ways. So you've got the same opportunity to get the prime spots, and you can go head to head with the biggest brands in your space. So it's a great way for challenger brands.
I actually think that it benefits challenger brands more than it benefits the big household name brands to go after those new to brand customers, because those smaller brands can use Amazon as a brand building platform, whereas a lot of these much bigger brands, they can too, but normally they've already got a lot of that type of acquisition in other areas of their business, and they're not really looking to Amazon for that necessarily.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's we'll go. Well, how do we know it's working? Shall I, as you start that, shall I share the?
Yep. So there's a bunch of metrics that haven't been actually accessible for us forever. These are actually relatively new metrics that Amazon has given us, but it has allowed us to be able to segment our audience, and so we can start to see different parts of the funnel. So Hamish has got a slide deck here, and the first area we're going to look at, and this is inside your advertising console. So anyone can access this as long as they're already advertising and they're brand registered. They can access this within the ad console. And so the first slide we're looking at here is what we call brand metrics. And in this example, Amazon allows you to segment your audience into 3 different buckets. They call them awareness, consideration, and purchasing, that you can see on the left-hand side there. They do have categories that you can group this into, so we've hidden it for the sake of privacy, but yeah, you can have a look at the different categories here. And here they allow you to see what your shopper count is versus your category. So in this example, we have a percentage change, and everything in this particular shot is showing the percentage change from June 2024 to January. So June 2024 is 0% because now every month is then based off that month. And so in this particular client's example, we have us as the blue line, so that's our shopper change, and then in the yellow line we have the category medium, and then the category top is the purple line. So the category top is defined as the top 5% of brands. That's literally just to say like which of top 5% of brands are generating majority of the revenue. Then you've got the category medium, which is the middle ground, and then you have on the left hand side, which is the blue line, us and our change. So in this example,
so for people watching / listening, where can they get this report for themselves, or what do they need?
Yeah, so it's inside your advertising account. If you go under insights and planning inside your advertising account, there's a section there called brand metrics, and you click on that and you'll end up on this page.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So at this point, we don't still know our new to brand customers, but we do know that we're outgrowing our category. All right. And so in that example, you could see we're clearly outgrowing the category. As the months go on, we're separating ourselves and having more market share.
Yeah.
The next slide is you can actually deep dive into the category a little bit further and have a look at some of the metrics within that category. So in this example, it's the same kind of view. We have your brand, we have the category medium and the category top, and they're split out into these different metrics. So we've got customer conversion rate, percentage of new to brand customers. So there's that number, that percentage that we're looking at. Percentage of subscribe and save, new to brand customers, and subscribe and save customers as a number as well. And so this is, I don't actually have the date range here, but this is looking at a single month. And you can start to plot this over a 12-month period to have a look at the success of those advertising objectives we talked about earlier, and how they're working. So how much of your new to brand customers, how much as a percentage is it continuing to grow, or is it declining? So in this case, you can see it was up 13% from new to brand. And you can also benchmark whether you think that you're acquiring enough. Now in this example, you can see it actually looks like we're under the category medium. So here it says percentage of new to brand customers, 66. And the category medium is 75. There is some context you have to take with all of these metrics. In this example, this is a pretty strong brand. So a lot of the customers are repeat purchase because the brand is strong. And when you have a really strong brand, your percentage of new to brand is lower. And that's because your base, you're going to start off at a much lower base. So if you think about, a household brand name, I don't know, L'Oreal, for example, they will have a very low percentage of new to brand to begin with. And that's because everyone knows their brand. And then from there, they can continue that's their benchmark, right? And then they can use that as a guide to help them know whether they're investing in more of the new to brand customers.
Good. Okay. And then onto this last one. Shall we jump onto this while we're here?
Yep. So this is the new to brand and what it would look like. So we're starting to get to the really actionable pieces that you can do. So we mentioned that sponsored brand and sponsored display are the two main campaign types. This is what it would look like inside your campaigns. So in this example, we've got all the sponsored brand display, we've got the spend, the orders, the sales, and then over on the right-hand side, we have the percentage of orders that are new to brand, the percentage of orders and the sales that are new to brand. And so this kind of allows you to look at, for example, for sponsored brand, there might be certain creatives that are really good at bringing people in as a new brand, right? Because if you're talking to someone that has no idea about what your brand is, you may have to do a little bit of an education piece, right? You might not start off with the features and benefits of your product because they have no idea who you are. And if you're just solely a product and there's a cheaper alternative and you're just focusing on your features and benefits, they'll be like, wait, there's features and benefits of another product that match yours and it's $10 cheaper, and they'll just go on to the cheapest one. So the creatives here might be more about actually educating them on what your brand is all about. And so it's really more about that brand building piece. And at this level, you can start to measure, creatives and get a bit more granular with what's going to work at bringing people into your brand.
Nice. So, and just while we're here, looking at the ROAS, so because some people might go, well, they're not very good compared to their sponsored products. What would you say about that on these numbers?
Yeah, again, I mean, if you're a CPG brand and you looked at this and you were just saying, "Oh, my ROAS is no good, turn those off," you'd be making a very big mistake because you're not factoring in that this is a new to brand customer. They might come back and purchase 4 more times from you for free. So you just gave away 4 sales because you were worried about you weren't looking at the complete metrics there. So, lifetime value comes into the picture here. That's the next step, right? Once you're identified that you want to do new to brand, the next step is then looking at, okay, well, what is the lifetime value on my customers? And lifetime value can be measured in a few ways. If you're a consumable brand, it's pretty standard to measure. But even brands that aren't consumables, there's still a lifetime value piece, because they may come and purchase complementary products to the product that they purchased originally.
Yeah. Well, that's So, kind of continuing on down that path of how can brands leverage new to brand data to inform their overall marketing strategy, both on and off Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we've kind of broken it down to why it's important, how to measure it, and then really got into the weeds when we were talking about like putting together actual advertising campaigns that can specifically speak to those new to brand customers.
Mm. Okay, so all right, what else we got here, Seb? So how can brands balance their focus between acquiring new customers and retaining existing ones on Amazon?
Yep. So there's a few ways. Uh, so one of them is setting aside a certain amount of budget for new to brand. If you have a limited budget, and we all don't have endless budgets, putting some of that aside to continue to grow that, and having different types of parameters around the metrics that are important. If you're just looking at ROAS for that, you're going to ultimately end up with just killing those campaigns, and it's all going to go into bottom of funnel stuff, and you're not going to be investing in the future. So setting up separate budget, separate objectives, from a performance point of view, not necessarily ROAS based goals. That's one way that you need to, that you can prioritize it. Also looking at whether Amazon is a good channel for you to do acquisition, right? Just because we're an Amazon agency, it doesn't mean we're always going to tell you invest in acquiring customers on Amazon. You should look at where's the best places for you to acquire customers. Amazon's very good at keeping customers on the platform, so generally it is a good place to acquire customers. But balancing it means like not just looking at Amazon, but where else are you acquiring customers, and what does it cost you to acquire those customers elsewhere? And if Amazon is a good fit,
Mm.
double down and invest and put money into that, because it just makes a lot of sense, and their model is built, around a lot of that.
Yeah, no, it's really just looking at, well, is that term, what is it, blended ROAS, as you look across all of your channels there, just seeing what the overall picture is like. And yeah, for many, like at the moment, Amazon is still cheap, and because of that high buyer intent, it can actually be one of the best client acquisition options. So, okay. So, what else? Is there anything we've missed, Seb? Because I know the examples have been a bit about consumable products, but if people have products that are less so, like they're more one-time purchases, you could say. So it is keeping in mind, though, that you'll have other products inside of that brand. So it's people coming back to search for complement. So if you're in the baby category, for example, you might buy a diaper bag, but then you could buy a change kit, or a car seat protector. So there could be different products like that. And there's also the gifting aspect as well, where people want to share with their friends. It's like, hey, you want to get one of these? They're really great. So it's thinking about that as well, which is harder to track, but it is also it's definitely a factor. Anything else that you would
Yeah. Oh, well, just
suggest?
along those lines, you could have products that are one-time purchases, but they need filters replaced, right? Or
Mm,
they need
mm.
things like that. So there is always going to be, a touch point there where, like you said, complementary or products that they need to continue to purchase to maintain the product that they have. And looking at that as part of the equation, right? That can play into it too.
Good. Okay. So, in summary, new to brand customers, having a deliberate strategy to attract them, utilizing sponsored brand, sponsored display, ad types, and really, doing this, understanding your lifetime value. And if that's something you don't know, then that would be a good idea to have a chat to us about that, to help you make good decisions. So don't always look at the first number on the surface, dig beneath that initial number, because that's where the real gold is. And that's where you have an unfair advantage over your competition, who will be underspending, underinvesting in the channel because they don't understand their numbers. But if you understand your numbers, you can outspend your competition for that even short-term gain. We've seen that with some customers, like even that graph before, how they are really starting to get a big chunk of the market share, and the competitors won't know why or what's happened there. So that's still the great opportunity that's there. Anyway, so look, yeah, and jump into your brand metrics and have a look at your new to brand customer percentage there and how you stack up against the median and against the top. That'll be really useful information for you as well. And so, look, if you would like to connect with Seb to have him do an audit of your current Amazon advertising campaigns and looking for those missed targeting opportunities, or looking for where you've got wasted ad spend that could be reallocated, and just getting a blueprint for how you can structure your advertising and what investment is really required to win in the category, then go to gosellglobal.com and look under services and management for Amazon ads, and then you can book a call on there. There's some other information there that you could look at to find out more about that audit. And also, lastly, we've got some Amazon vendor events, meetups, if you happen to be in Sydney or in Melbourne. So in Melbourne on Wednesday, the 19th of February from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then in Sydney on the 20th, Thursday, the 20th of February, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We've got Amazon vendor events there where you can get together with other brands who will be talking about all things Amazon and what's working for people, what challenges they're dealing with, and how they're overcoming them. And it's a great way to meet like-minded people, and we have a lot of fun at these events. So looking forward to that in a couple of weeks. Again, if you go to the website on the homepage there at gosellglobal.com, scroll down a little bit and you'll see where you can register for those events and find out more about it. So that'll be great. And thanks again, Seb. Appreciate your expertise and insight yet again. And we look forward to seeing people back here next Tuesday for more TACOS Tuesday. And thank you very much.